Well guys, one of the first fires today means that we have some time to spend in the shop. Not 2 hours, not 3 hours, but 5 hours we get out here today. So we're gonna hopefully get some work done. We haven't done anything to this car in quite some time. So here's what I would like to do today. I'd like to get rid of the ABS pump. I'd like to get that motor on that subframe into this car. So there's quite a bit of things I would like to do today. We're gonna have to see how we're gonna do it. So the first thing that we'd like to do is get rid of this ABS pump. Do you guys remember how we do this? It's much, much easier without the car in there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna unscrew this, and we're gonna unscrew this one. Maybe we'll leave that one and just unscrew it here. And we're gonna start rerouting this one. So this one here comes through, comes on the bottom, comes all the way down to here. We're going to take that. That one there actually looks a little bigger on this one. This one here has got much, much bigger lines. So this is not going to work as easy as I was hoping, but it's still going to work. We're going to have to maybe modify a couple things. See, this one here looks bigger. This one here looks bigger. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just put a different master cylinder on this. Well, after some consideration and looking around, I don't have an actual ABS pump, sorry, an actual master cylinder on my shelf that is the smaller size. And you can see the bigger size and the smaller size right here. So, we're not going to do anything with that. What we're going to do is just leave it all. And I don't want to leave it all, but honestly, guys, I'm already starting to feel the laziness come in. So this here is my rear brake lines. They've already been capped off, which is nice. I'm pretty sure I did that a couple years ago. Here's my fuel lines to the inside of the car. We're going to leave those because we're probably going to use those again. And we're just probably going to cut off those lines to give ourselves a little bit of space. But other than that, it's kind of a huge letdown already, but screw it. This one here is a V6 2001, I believe it is. And so it does have the bigger master cylinder for all the bigger brakes that it had. So if you really wanted to, you could swap this out for an older master that has these smaller fittings on it. But we're not going to do that because I don't have one sitting on my Camry part shelf over there. So the plan is just to wheel that one underneath, lift the car up, bring it down so that we can start putting all the mounts on and put the steering on and all that fun stuff. So let's get going at it. I don't think we need this, and I don't think we need this. Beautiful. Oh. It's about where I want it, I think. I guess we should put the power steering on since we're already down here. You know, I hear a lot of guys saying, oh, it's because you have a shop you can do all this. Guys, when I was younger, I was doing all this in my parents' driveway. The only thing that's changed is I've got a little bit more accustomed to the fancy side of life where, you know, I don't have to be out in the driveway in the rain doing this. But I used to do this in the rain. Pulled cabs off Mazdas and switched them. Used to be into Mazda pickups. So one of the first things we're going to try to really line up is this steering knuckle. But Be nice if it just went in there all nicely. So what we're going to do is just put a little bit of pressure. Just going to use these vice grips to stop it from wheeling. I'm going to bring it down so it's a little bit closer. I think that's a little closer. Let's check out the steering shaft. Yeah, it's nowhere near where I want it to be. It's because it's all falling out a bit. That's going to be a pain in the butt. Well, let's get the hammer out here. We're going to hammer it back in and then get that on there. Okay, so that's the wrong one. Now, there is a left and a right for this thing, and it can be put in. I've been trying different things with different cars, but honestly, this is just going to be a stock build. I've been seeing all these guys on the internet building these Camry spindles out of plate steel. It looks awesome. I really like to see that the Camrys are starting to catch up to the W bodies for aftermarket, because honestly I think that's the only thing that's holding them back right now is the aftermarket. The Camrys don't have the aftermarket support of the W bodies. So these guys out there building Camry spindles, that's been something that I've been breaking a lot lately. Like, I've been down to Meltdown and I broke a spindle. Every single time I've been to Meltdown I broke a spindle. So then something has to be done about it. Oh. Let's get it up, and then we will hook up all the steering. The clock springs are all screwed up on the inside. So this car here is a big random to me, and what do I mean by that? The motor, the last time I think it was ran, was infected, and the last time that motor was ran, Steven drove it, and he got the transmission so hot that it melted the transmission cooler lines into that heat-resistant fiberglass on the firewall. I don't know if I'll be able to find the video, but if I do find the video, I'll put it up here. But, so that was the last time this motor was ran. And this here is the actual motor I took down, I think, because it's got the headers on it. I may have swapped the headers, but the headers tell me this is the first motor I took down to Mini Meltdown in 2019. Sorry, yeah, 2019, before COVID. This would be the first motor I took down there. This transmission, I think, was going good, but the timing was so bad. I remember the car ran so bad after Dundalk last year. So this one here, this motor here was ran in Orangeville, and it didn't really run right, and then I took it to Dundalk, and it definitely didn't run right in Dundalk again. So I remember I popped the timing belt off, just because it was not running right. So this here, that was the transmission. That motor, that was the oil pump that didn't turn. So we're just going to start putting this together, and hopefully this thing runs. My goal for this car is to get it to running, driving, and then park it outside and store it for winter, so that when spring comes I have a car that's stripped with a motor in it that runs, and a gas tank and a battery, and I just throw a battery into it and drive it out. That would be my goal for this. So we need to put spindles, suspension, struts. Where am I going to take this? I don't really know as of right now. What bumper am I going to put on it? I don't know, because I don't know where I'm going to take it. So let's start hooking this thing up. We got to put the 12mm bolt in the steering, so we don't forget that. I want to do it right now, and then we're going to move on and move on and move on and move on to other things. The motor's not tightened down, so maybe we'll bring it up and tighten down all the motor mounts. So what we're going to do is just start tightening down these bolts, but apparently half the ones I have are not 14s, they're 15s. So that's kind of weird. I like to try to keep my metric and imperial separate. I don't think they're 15s, I think they're like 5/8 or something. The GM version of them. But the problem is I've been having a little bit of GMs in here lately, so I've been getting all confused with what to do with stuff like that, because it's confusing having different sizes. Okay, so honestly, my plan for this car is pretty much stock build, close to home, kind of show. I don't really think this car is worth any USA Adventure, I'll tell you that. And I don't think it's worth a pro build. That's the reason why I pulled out the 3.1, because I don't think this car is worth pro at all. So my goal is to get this car done. Then we have to build a W body for one of my buddies. So we're going to build that W body. It's actually not even... Oh, that was hot. It's not even going to stay here in Ontario. It's actually going to go out to PEI. Yeah, so the W body has to go to PEI. So it will not be staying here. So don't worry about that one. It's not my car. I was just being given it to build for a buddy. But yeah, let's take a look at this car. So rockers look good, subframe looks good, a little soft back here, pretty soft right here where the rockers touch. Trailing arms are kind of solid, rusty, but not too bad, same as this side. Subframe, not too bad actually. Like the frame doesn't look bad, it's just the body. The body's not the best on this one, guys. Like, this is what scares me, is all the seams on this thing. Like, and there's body fill on it. So, like, look at this, has all been repaired. I think that's actually foam right there. So, like, this car is not a pro-worthy car. Let's get a hammer. Yeah, this guy knew how to do body work the correct way. Fill it with spray foam, call it a day. Oh yeah, she likes it when I get deep in there. Yeah, this is why I didn't want to turn this into a pro car, guys. So that being said, with how rusty this thing is, it's just going to be a small local show car. So what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to get this thing running. Because I have not heard this car run, and I kind of had this engine into a pile that said garbage. So, and the spark plugs that came out of it, it looked really bad. So, here's what I'd like to do. Gas tank, battery, start it. No fuel lines, sorry, no throttle cable, no shifter cable, no nothing. Let's just get this thing running, and I'd be pretty happy with that. So,